What's up, Make a Change family? Coach Rodney here, and today I'm going to cover all of our basic warm-up, our comprehensive warm-up. We've got 6 different groupings that we're going to do. We're going to get started with our Eric's pad. I want you to start down. If you have an Eric's pad or not, it doesn't matter, but these are the 4 movements that I want us to work on. You're going to start off with that foot in front, and you're just going to shift forward 5 times, all right? The goal is to try to drive that hip forward into a neutral position, opening up your chest. There are some ways that you can increase this intensity of that stretch, but overall, I want you to just knock out 5. Then we're going to go at a 45-degree angle, and now we're shifting in that direction. So that first one, we were working on that hip flexor. The second one now, we're starting to work on that groin, that pelvic floor. Again, we're shifting out. Now, your foot placement does matter. So the closer you are to your body with your foot, the less you're going to feel in a stretch in what we're trying to get to, that groin, and the more you're going to load up this knee and leg. The further out that foot goes, now the more we're going to engage that groin area. All right, so foot placement matters. I try to get somewhere in between with that foot directly underneath that knee. So we're doing 5 in that 45-degree angle. Now we're doing 5 in this 90-degree angle. We're going to get a little bit more of those adductors in this stretch here, as far as the groin where you get in that 45-degree. Once you go out 5 times, you are now simply shifting that weight back, trying to sit that butt back. What you're going to feel is that posterior hip work. We're talking about that piriformis and those other small posterior hip muscles that we need to get stretched. All right. Now, you can either do that or you can substitute that with a straight leg, and we're sitting back in that position there. Now, we're going to get a little bit more hamstring in this stretch. You're also still going to get those adductors. Your angle does matter. So the further that foot is out, the more challenging that stretch is. Typically, the less range of motion that you have. All right. We're going to switch and go to that opposite side. Again, we're starting with that foot out there in front. We are working that hip flexor. Your foot placement is important, and I want to make sure that we are linear in this space to attack that hip flexor. We're talking about the psoas, that we're trying to get that inner hip in. All right. Then we're going to open up that leg, 45-degree angle, shifting out in that position there, driving that hip not only towards that direction, but also down to the floor. And again, you'll feel that groin area open up, 90-degree angle, and we're shifting out to the right now. Again, opening up where we're getting that groin and that adductor. Like I said, foot placement does matter, but more so than anything else, when you are doing these stretches, I want you to listen to your body. I want you to know what your body's doing in the moment, so you understand what muscles are being used, and then how do we either strengthen or lengthen those muscles that you're able to engage with. All right, perfect. That's the Eric's 4. All right, Eric's meaning Eric's pad, Eric's 4. All right, let's go into our hip flexor core 4. I'm going to get that pad out the way. You can use anything that you have available. Cones, yoga block, anything that's vertical that'll allow you to take your leg up and over. All right. You can do this either supported or unsupported. So for me, I don't mind doing supported. My hands are back behind me, and I am just simply taking this leg up and over. All right. I want to make sure that we are tapping the ground as we go from side to side. I also want you to try to have this leg more extended than not. All right. It doesn't mean that your leg has to be completely locked out. That's not what we're looking for. But we do want this extended. We want to increase that lever. So then that hip flexor is really the one muscle that we're trying to engage. All right. Now, some of you all, because that hip flexor is weak and or your quad is weak, you'll probably feel more quad. You just feel like that quad is taking over. All right. Both are needed. The quad inserts up top here in the same area and where the hip flexor engages or inserts. So you can and will feel both. Also, FYI, just something to think about. As you have these legs out, you can turn this foot out, all right? Lift and lower. And what you're going to do is get more of that groin, that adductor, that inner thigh muscles that we have, and you'll work that just a little bit more. Your choice. All right, that's our up and over. I don't want to forget about our 90-90. Backtrack just a little bit. Those legs are going to start here. This is where this comes from, 90 degree, 90 degree, and we're simply shifting from side to side. Now, in this current state, I don't have the ability to go side to side with no hands. Like if I was to lift my hands, it's difficult for me to hold myself up and then switch over to that opposite side. But I am able to work different angles, so I can come up a little bit more vertical, or I can lean back, making it a little bit more easier for me. Everybody's going to be different, all right? But that's your 90-90 stretch. So we got 90-90. We got our up and overs. Now we're going to go with our bend and extend. We're just simply bringing this leg back and extending, all right? The goal is to try to get that leg fully extended. If you like, you can bring that foot back down to the floor. But on the opposite side, I don't want you dropping it. I want that leg to stay suspended as it goes over and comes back, okay? You can do 5 to 10, your choice. Let's say your hip flexors are weak and you struggle even doing 6 or 7. That's okay. Start at 5, build your way up to 10. From there, maybe you build yourself away from holding yourself up and going without hands, all right? There are different ways that you can challenge yourself without reinventing the wheel, all right? The last thing that we've got our cone, dumbbell, whatever you place there. That's just your middle marker. But you're just going to do leg swings. You're just going to lift this leg up, swing it open, bring it back. That's it. All right? Again, the same thing with this. I want you to try to keep your leg up as you're going side to side, right? The slower you go, the more control you have. You can swing. I'm good with the swing, quicker tempo, or you can go slower. I'm okay with that. Both are beneficial. All right? That is the hip flexor, core 4. Now we got to get to the base. Now we're standing up. Just FYI, use aid, yoga blocks, push-up bars, mini bands to increase intensity, dumbbells to increase intensity. All of those matter. Use what you need until you're able to do more. All right? We got our base. We're going to be going with 4 exercises, trying to work all those major muscles. All right? First, we got those knee hugs. You are bringing that up. I do want you to bring your knee up. So the last thing I want is this. This ain't going to cut it. All right? I need you to bring your knee up, working on your balance. This warm-up does multiple things. It gets your muscles firing that we need to. It starts to get your heart rate up, elevated into that upper zone 1, lower zone 2. So now we get to walk into our workout ready to rock and roll, okay? But thirdly, what this does is really get your body, or really your mind, prepared for the workout, all right? Big muscles are moving, your heart is racing, and then now we're getting our mental ready to go work out, all right? This gives you a chance to identify some tightness where you can spend some more time in those areas. Your second thing on your base 4, your quad pull. You're grabbing that foot or that ankle and you're pulling. Now, you can hold, that's fine. I like to hold for about 2 to 3 seconds. Sometimes I do go quicker. It just depends. So sometimes I'll hit just going back and forth here. I wouldn't hold more than 3 seconds. We still want this to be an active stretch. So we just want that muscle to contract and release. Same thing we're going to be doing when we are lifting weights. The third thing, we've got our hamstring scoops, all right? You're going to get that foot out there just in front, all right? So that foot is just out in front. You can have that foot flat, shift that weight back where this leg is bent, that opposite leg is completely straight, and you're back out. You can just keep that foot out there and shift, okay? Now, if you want to add the calf in there, you just simply have your toe up, and you can take that foot down, or you can hold that toe up the entire time. Again, these variations are very subtle. The goal is to make sure that we are just doing the exercise in one of those variations, and you'll see the benefit of those muscles being ready to fire when you need them. All right. Also, this is a full comprehensive stretch, meaning your whole body is going to be ready for the workout, even though you may have a lower body or upper body focus or a particular body part. I think it's super important that we are revving our body up every single day for the movement of the day. Whether it's a workout, working in the garden, going to work, playing with the kids, does not matter. All right. Now we're going to finish up with our fourth exercise, external rotation. We're simply just going to bring that leg up, get tall, and pull. Now, the goal is for you to lift with that ankle here, slightly press down with that knee, stand tall, and try to externally rotate that hip. The hip is what we're referencing here when we're talking about externally rotating, okay? And you're just trying to bring that leg up and get tall, all right? Again, 5 to 10 times off of each side. Hold for about 2 to 3 seconds, and you're ready to rock and roll, all right? Great way to challenge that TFL in flexion, but it also opens up that groin in extension, all right? So that's our 3 so far: Eric's, hip flexor, and base. Now we're going to go to our lunge, all right? If you have the space to do a walking lunge, I would suggest that you do that. But if you don't, you can just simply change up the lunges that we're doing. I like to go into a forward lunge with a reach back and a reverse lunge with rotation. So when we do our forward lunge, we're going to come forward, opening up that hip, driving back. Again, this is twofold now. We're moving more, getting those major muscles firing, plus still actively working on increasing our range of motion in those exercises that we did earlier. Your foot placement does matter. Again, the further that foot goes out, the more pressure you're going to place on that hip flexor and quad. The closer you have that foot in, the more you're going to load that leg. You're still going to feel a stretch in that hip flexor, but that front leg is going to be a little bit more loaded, okay? Then we're going to do our reverse lunge with rotation. We're simply just going to come back and rotate. This gives you a different movement with your lunge. I want you focusing in on opening up your thoracic spine here. I don't want just one of these numbers. That's not going to cut it. You can use your leg as leverage to open yourself up and back in. Okay? Now, you can tell that my heart rate is coming up, which is good. This means that now my heart is now getting ready, or getting itself ready for the workout. Most of you all are probably sitting at about 60, at the highest 70 on your resting heart rate. So right now, if you were to check, I'm going to go ahead and check myself. I should probably be somewhere around 89, maybe 95. We'll call it 85 to 95, all right? So right now I'm sitting just above 100. All right. Oh, our bandit. All right. That was our 4 on our. Oh, I'm sorry. That was 2. I still owe you 2 more. All right. We got world's greatest stretch. We are going out in that lunge, hands to the floor, and we're going to rotate up. The reason why we call this world's greatest stretch is because you get a stretch here in your hip area. You get to rotate at the thoracic spine. Your glutes are fine. Your legs are fine. Your arms are fine. You can be in this position where you're just going side to side. You don't have to step into that. So you can be in a push-up position. Bring that leg up. Rotate. Come back. Opposite side. Rotate. Your choice. Okay? All right. Our third lunge. Or excuse me, our fourth lunge. So we've got our rotation, our reach back, our world's greatest stretch. And then you're really looking at taking this knee down here to the floor, driving that hip forward, taking your hands to the floor, and opening up that hip here. Now you could do that in the world's greatest stretch, but I don't like you fighting for stability when I'm trying to work on externally rotating that hip. Okay? Another lunge that you can do would be your lateral lunge. I do like to work, making sure I work in all planes of motion. So you can step out, keep that leg straight, shift, and then drop that hip to the floor. Okay? I try to keep my knee stacked close to that foot. You can always turn that foot out if you want to, shift and drop that hip and come back again. All right? Now, ways that you can intensify that stretch is by grabbing some weight, like this kettlebell, and you can just have this help drop you into that lateral lunge and drop in there. Okay? All right. Those are our 4. All right? We got a reverse with rotation, forward with a reach back, world's greatest stretch, and your choice. You can do more knee, external rotation, or you can do those lateral lunges. All right? All right. You got number 5, which is your bandit. We're going to get that upper body now. All right? So we're going to start off with around the world. I'm just going to simply take this band and take this up and over. The goal is to try to get that band back towards your butt and back again. I want you to notice how far I'm taking this band wide, my arms wide to rotate, because in this position here, this is a struggle for me to even get this far back, as you can see, having my hands close. So extending those arms out further helps me get that shoulder in full rotation. All right. The second thing that we're going to do our band pull apart. We're going to squeeze those shoulder blades together here, just like so. All right. It's important that we try to keep those shoulders relaxed. Arms are straight, pull, and I want you to keep tension in the band. The last thing I want you to do is get floppy with that and lose tension. I want that muscle, those rhomboids, to stay under tension. Okay. That's our second one. Now you can add this. I'm going to add a few extra in here. You can do rotations and shifts. All right. You can take this band above your head, shift left to right, open up those obliques. Don't be afraid to get a little movement when we're doing this. So as you shift, you can rotate here. That lat and those obliques work in a great manner where it can rotate in many different ways. All right. Or you can have that band down here at your chest, still relax shoulder as we're rotating side to side. Okay. That's going to open up more of that thoracic spine. We still have a couple more. You can have this band back behind your back. You can reach back, lock that band in at the small of your back, stand tall and extend. Getting those triceps warmed up. This gets you off of the floor and gives you opportunity also not only to work that tricep, but also to get range of motion here in that shoulder, tricep, and upper back. Okay? All right. One of my favorites that I just started adding in is your front raise. You're going to step on one of these bands. By the way, this is called a super band. Some people call it other ones a closed band. You can buy these on Amazon, Walmart, Dick's. It don't matter. Go to Facebook Marketplace, grab these bands. They're pretty inexpensive. And a great way to take your exercise with you no matter where you go. Okay? So I want you to step on that band, have that band. You're grabbing both and you're pulling straight up. Your range of motion, your choice. Again, I can't stress this enough. Going fast or going at a quicker tempo is fine. Going at a slower tempo now puts you in a different range now. All right. Now this puts you into full control, keeping those muscles under tension, which will help grow that muscle. Okay. So you got those front raises there. That's about it. You can do a couple other things with this, like a bent over row if you want to, placing this band on the floor, stepping over, pulling here. There's a lot of different ways that you can attack this, but ultimately, I just simply want you to get those shoulders warmed up in rotation, pulling, flexing, the whole nine. All right? That's our banded 4. That's the 5th one. And then last one, you're going to see the active 4. The active 4 is just off of the base 4. So we're going to do high knees as we're running here. This is meant to get your heart rate up if it hasn't already. All right? Using those arms, driving those knees. Too simple, right? We got butt kicks. I want you to work on getting your heel to come straight up here rather than just there. This angle is fine, but this angle right here also works the quad muscle and knee muscle just in a different way. All right? So you got your butt kicks. Then we've got our front leg kicks. Opposite hand, opposite foot. We're driving up. You can start off slow. When I say slow, that means low. Just try to keep those toes pointed back towards you. And as you start to warm up, you can get that foot higher. Opposite hand, opposite foot. All right. Last thing that we got our open hips. All right. I have space where I usually call this my backward hip skips. And I'm literally skipping backwards here as if I'm going over a hurdle. Oh, hold on. I knew it was something I was forgetting. All right. So I don't have to imagine a hurdle. There's a hurdle right there. And I want to open my hips up, externally rotate those hips to come over that hurdle. All right. So when I'm lifting, I'm not lifting my knee and my foot's low. No, my foot is up and I am externally rotating that hip. Now, if you have something there that you can use, outstanding. Let's go external, internal, external, internal. And what I want you to focus in on is trying to get that foot to hit the same spot every single time. Whether you are externally rotating or internally rotating, I do want you to have some body control. Not stiff, not slow, body control. All right? But we're just opening up that hip. Again, you can go both ways or just open up that hip here. All right? That's the active 4. Those are 6 blocks that you should be right now ready to rock and roll. Are there some other things that we can do? Absolutely. But these 6 blocks should get your body ready to squat, to hinge, to push, to pull, to jump. You should be ready to rock and roll. All right. So learn these so you don't have to see this ugly mug all the time showing you how to do all these exercises. All right. Be consistent. Make sure you're doing a portion of these every single day, but at least 2 to 3 times a week. You should be going through this whole gamut, getting your body revved up. All right. Hope you enjoy. Go work out now. Be great. Show up. Do the best that you can. Be consistent and know that over time, we're going to stack those wins. I'm Coach Rodney. Until next time.